Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ultimate Kiwi, just coming back with another video to discuss some of the matches coming up in the CDL Major 2 cycle. And overall, just wanted to go over some of the matches, maybe discuss a little bit about Major 1 as well, and some of my expectations for these teams as the matches do come up this weekend. This gameplay is just a vault hardpoint I played in rank play. Certainly getting myself unhardstuck. Should have another episode of those in the next couple of days, kind of recapping a lot of my games from the last week as well. Anyways, without further ado, get right into the games. The first game we'll be discussing is Los Angeles Thieves versus Royal Ravens. That one will be on Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. And while, the Major 1 runner-ups, Los Angeles Thieves, might seem like the favorites here, the Ravens certainly played super well at the Major 1, even given Vivid's health issues at Major 1 as well. So hopefully he's doing fine for this match. But I'm thinking of Game 5 here, and it's hard not to think Ravens could pull out that Game 5, especially with the way that Ravens have really been succeeding through search, and Thieves, that's kind of been a little bit more of a limiting factor for them. So I'm actually going to go with the Ravens here. I'm curious to know what you guys might think in the comments, but I'm honestly really high on this Ravens team, and it's a group effort. I think a lot of it comes down to teamwork and how they can maximize the amount of actual value they get out of maybe not so abundant amount of kills at times. Even if they're getting outslayed in the game, sometimes they can pull out the game with a little bit more pace and teamwork. So definitely always looking for a game like that to go on. So hopefully a close Game 5, but I got Ravens. Moving on to the next game. This one might be a bit of a snooze fest, but honestly, Vegas Falcons and their gameplay in general, it is kind of fun to watch. Sometimes it's a little bit frantic or a little bit incompetent, but certainly they're shooters and they'll show you at times. So certainly hoping to see a close match here, but I'm guessing that Boston Breach will probably 3-1, 3-0, and I would probably look out for the search, if anything. And I wonder what Boston Breach will do. They underperformed at Major 1, but certainly showed a lot of promise throughout the Major 1 qualifiers. So I'm curious to see how they might feel, whether perhaps there's a roster change sometime in the near future. I'm not sure, but I would certainly think that they'll stick it out at least for this match and through the weekend. Anyways, to move on to the third and final match of Friday, we have Atlanta Faze versus Vancouver Surge. Friday might not be, other than the first match, might not be too exciting, knowing that Faze is on a unbelievable win streak at the moment, and Surge is just, not. They're not on a win streak at the moment, and Hixie for Neptune. I'm excited to see Net play. I liked what he brought to the table at times on Florida and on Gorillas, but certainly it's kind of the same problem with Hook as well. Like, there's going to be mistakes on the minimap. There's going to be things that are questionable, but the talent is just undeniable. So I'm hoping to see Net succeed and stick around in the league for a while. Anyways, that'll wrap up Friday. And we'll move into Saturday, which we do have 4 matches on Saturday, and certainly some matches that are going to be really, really exciting to watch. So to start out at 3 p.m., we're going to have, 3 p.m. Eastern at least, we're going to have Los Angeles Gorilla Mates versus the Boston Breach. And this might actually be more of a match than some people might think, especially with Boston's confidence maybe being a bit lower than we might have expected heading into a Major 2, certainly off of their Major 1 qualifier form. I would have expected them to be in much higher spirits, but we'll see kind of how they fare. And if they come out in 3-0, sweep the Falcons, they might have a rejuvenation of sorts. So hopefully they're feeling good about that. But Gorilla Mates, they're an interesting team. I mean, I think they're probably one or two bad losses from a roster change, but these guys are winners. I mean, three of them world champs. Lynn's certainly not a slouch at all, and certainly an extremely, extremely talented player. So I'm hoping to see a close match here. I think it probably will come down to a game 4, game 5, a pretty close series, but I do honestly have Breach. I think they're going to get back on form and figure something out. 4:30, we're going to have Miami Heretics versus the Rocker. And this is going to be a battle of teams that really overperformed what people expected them to do in Major 1. Obviously, Miami with an incredible third place finish at the Major. And Minnesota, unfortunately, falling a little bit short of that fourth place finish with a top 6, but they were really only one round away from flipping with Miami here to end up in a really great spot. So this will be a really close series. I mean, the last series between these teams, at least on land, went all the way down to one round. So you just never know with these two teams, especially based on what roster changes might lie ahead for either one of these teams. I mean, of course, Miami overperformed, but they do have Super right there waiting. I mean, certainly a talent upgrade, at least in my opinion, over perhaps Lucky, but Lucky really showed up at the Major, so I guess we'll see kind of where their head's at and what they might want to do at the Major 2, qualifiers, and then maybe even the minor. But certainly something to watch out for. 6:00 Eastern Time, we have one of the best matches in the CDL, OpTic versus Faze. Pred back on OpTic, Faze coming off an unbelievable win streak, probably going to continue that on Surge on Friday, so they're going to be playing them for the win streak record. And I mean, OpTic's going to be under practice, that's really no secret, but they will have the vibes back with Pred. I mean, knowing that they're the defending world champions, at least in semi-recent history. Maybe this rivalry is kind of leaned towards Faze, but there's also been games like MW2 where OpTic dominated Faze. So hoping to see a really close match here. I have to be honest, I would probably lean Faze if I had to really hope to get this prediction right. But hopefully it's a close match. I'm thinking Pred is going to play pretty well, individually, but I'm concerned for, Kenny and how important he feels like the fundamentals are. I'm not certain that those will be there with such little practice. So I suppose we'll see how he plays and if it'll be enough to get over the line versus definitely the best team in the game at the moment. But yeah, super excited to see that game, and I think it'll be a close one. And to close out Saturday, we'll have Cloud9 New York versus Toronto Ultra. And this is a battle of two, definitely star-studded teams with, Sib on one side, Kleenex on the other. And I just honestly don't see the future for this current four-man lineup of C9. I think that, unfortunately, a change would need to be made. I mean, I really do love this roster on paper, and it's honestly the opposite of what a lot of us thought. Like, seeing the subs overperform what they were expected to, and the ARs just honestly completely dropped the ball. Like, this is an appalling level of incompetence at the moment, but they did turn up a little bit at the Major, and maybe we're just a couple maps from a really great performance. So I could see them maybe turning it around, at least in the short term, but I think to succeed long term in this season, there's going to need to be some sort of wholesale change. So I'll go with Toronto Ultra on this one, probably in like a 3-1 fashion, but certainly excited to see how that goes. And lastly, we got Sunday. This will be a little bit quicker to go through. We got Falcons versus LA Thieves. I mean, that's got 3-0 written all over it, but hopefully they can put up a fight, maybe put up a star-studded performance. I know that they're putting Wixel in for Roxas, I believe, so that should be interesting to see on this weekend. And then we have Ultra versus the Ravens. I think this is going to be a really close series, probably also 3-2 fashion, but with Toronto being so good at search as well, this could be pretty difficult for Ravens to pull out. But I'm certainly expecting a good series and a good battle from like TJ and Kleenex or Gwyn and Kleenex. Hopefully, we can see some serious sub duo work in those games. So, yeah, certainly looking forward to that as well. And then lastly, or not lastly, but very close to lastly, we have Vancouver Surge versus Cloud9 New York. I'm going to go with C9 New York there on a 3-1. I think they will figure it out, and especially against a weaker Vancouver team that really is just coming into their own with Neptune. I think it's going to take them a weekend or two to figure it out. And lastly, we have OpTic Texas versus the Rocker. And yeah, again, I mean, I think it's going to be about 3-0, 3-1. Rocker just, I don't know. They have definitely some great players, but I'm not certain that they'll be able to figure it out with this current lineup. So hopefully it's a close game, but certainly looking forward to seeing how that goes as well. Thank you guys a lot for listening to my opinions on these, and I'd love to hear your opinions on the comments. Thank you guys a lot for interacting with the videos and helping me grow this channel. So I appreciate it and hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And